Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mindful Crafts and More. I'm Katrina. If this is your first time checking out my channel, welcome. Take a look at this video or any of my other videos. And if you find yourself inspired, join my channel. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. I really appreciate you just hanging out with me for a bit. So, hi, everyone. Today, I'm going to do a shout out, share with you some things that I have been working on, and just kind of give you an update. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful start to your week and that you are staying cool and hydrated. So, before we get into it, what am I wearing? I'm wearing a beautiful hand crocheted top, and this was made by our YT Bestie, Jeanette, over at DOY Creations and DOY Life. Jeanette is awesome. She is phenomenal and just beautiful inside and out. If you haven't met her yet, or you haven't subscribed to her, both of her channels, what are you waiting for? She is just beautiful, like I said, and you will not be disappointed. So please go and check out DOY Creations and DOY Life. All right. So today we're going to talk quite a bit about Jeanette because I've been just very, very inspired and I want to work on some things along with her as well as some of the other content creators around because I think doing that definitely is helping each other to be encouraged, be inspired, and to show that support. I have limited time, but you know what? I am trying so hard to find the time to do some crafting as it really is a mindful activity for me and it really helps me out quite a bit. So come along with me as I just share with you what I have been up to and how I have been inspired. All right. So I decided that I would go ahead and just kind of take a reflection. And in doing that, I wanted to go back to the beginning. So begin at the beginning. I took a look over at Jeanette's channel. And as I was looking, I said, what is her first tutorial? What did she decide to share with us as the first thing that maybe we should attempt to make? And I was pleasantly surprised. She came up with a beautiful tutorial for a messy bun hat. And I thought it was great. So as I was looking at it, I was inspired. I grabbed some yarn, I grabbed my hook, and guess what? I made a messy bun hat. All right, so let's talk about the yarn that I used for mine. So I grabbed some yarn and just initially just wanted to figure out what color that I was going to choose. And I wanted to be something maybe that I would be able to wear. Now, I don't wear a lot of hats, but I do get very warm. And so if I do wear a hat, then maybe I thought trying out a messy bun hat may work. So I grabbed this yarn right here. This is beautiful Crafter Square yarn. It is acrylic. And I believe it's a gray. It doesn't have a color on here that I can tell, but I do believe it is a gray. All right. So like a charcoal gray. Okay. So I grabbed it, I grabbed my hook, and I made my hat. Now, here is my beautiful messy bun hat. I think it turned out beautiful. Okay. I really do think that it turned out beautiful. Now, how did I do it and what changes did I make and why? I made a few changes, and that's because I started out and I think I was just crocheting too tight. And I thought that it would have some give when it was done. But unfortunately, the beginning of the beanie ended up being too tight, but the end of it opened up a little bit more the way the stitches were made as I was crocheting. So I flipped it. Okay. So I will share it with you here. So my hat was actually made this way. Okay. So this is where I started and this is where I ended up. Now, because down here it was a little tighter than up here where I began, I went ahead and finished this off knowing that this was going to be my bottom edge to my hat, and decided to go ahead and do the crab stitch or reverse single crochet. So I really do like the finish on that, and I think it turned out great. Now, for this portion, which ended up being my top, but started out being the bottom, I wanted to bring it in some. So I did some single crochets and then started to decrease my stitches. And I think I did three sets of decreases to try to bring it in some, and then finished it off with another round of reverse single crochet, aka crab stitch. And I do like the way this came out. Now, as you notice, it does look like there is a change in the color of my hat. That is because the way the yarn was, it ended up having a knot in it where they ended it and then started a new skein, but it looks like the dye lot was not the same. But you know what? That's okay. I do think that it looks like it was on purpose, and I think it's going to wind up being very, very good, and it's going to wear well. So I want to say thank you so much, Jeanette, for a beautiful first tutorial. First things first. Um, and I really, really enjoyed it. Now, I will say sometimes when we do our first tutorials, especially if we are able to just continue on and do more videos and whatnot, we find that we learn a lot, we improve, and things like that. But you know what? When it gets to kind of the heart of things, I appreciate the tutorials, even if they are brand new and it may not be what you consider to be, what you're able to do right now. That's okay, because you can see that passion for the craft that you are doing. So I want to say bravo, my YT bestie. You did a wonderful job. And I now have a beautiful messy bun hat. Okay, so thank you. All right, so now there's some other things that Jeanette is doing. So I want to share that as well. She is doing a C2C challenge, and it is open-ended, so you have plenty of time. And what she is asking us to do, if we are so inspired, is to make a corner to corner blanket. All right. And there are no rules about it. You can do it however you want, just C2C. So she has a beautiful tutorial for C2C how to do the stitch pattern. And if you're not familiar with it, please go and check it out. I will put the link for both the messy bun hat as well as her C2C tutorial in the description box below. So please check it out. All right. So now, as we were talking about C2C, I wanted to take a look at that tutorial again because I had seen it before, and then try to see how I would be inspired to make a blanket. Now, you can just do straight C2C and just grab your yarns and just keep going, or you can choose to make a Grafghan using C2C, or you can do a striped pattern. There's so many different ways you can do just using that particular stitch pattern. But did you guys know that C2C is actually a different way of just saying corner to corner, or crocheting on the diagonal, or crocheting on the bias? So it's just kind of a way of doing it, and you don't necessarily have to stick to one particular stitch pattern. So I was inspired and thought that I would share that with you guys to see if we can explore some of the other corner to corner stitches and have some fun along the way. Now, the first thing is this. This right here is a sample, and it is a sample of a basic, and what I'm going to say, traditional corner to corner stitch pattern. Okay. And so what you are doing is making blocks of stitches, and you're beginning at one corner. And if you're just making a square, you can go to the opposite corner. So you build on your stitches until you get it as wide as you want. And then you start doing decreases until you get to one corner on the opposite end, okay? So that's a traditional corner to corner or C2C. And it is using the 6-3 method, okay? 6-3. That is going to become important later on, so just keep that in mind, okay? 6-3. What does that mean? Well, when you are beginning, you're going to chain 6, and then you're going to go ahead and do your stitches, okay? And then when you are going to the next square, you're going to chain 3, all right? And then you have to know the stitch pattern. I'm not going to get all into that, but just know this is a 6-3 ratio, okay, for that. And that's your basic C2C stitch, all right? So this will give you a square if you are doing your increases on either side and then doing your decreases on either side without increasing a stitch, okay? You will end up with a square. What happens if you do a decrease on one side, but you leave it steady on the other? Well, in that case, you're going to end up with something like this. And this is a C2C rectangle pattern, okay? So you see that I'm still working on it. And this again is working the 6 and then the 3 stitch pattern. But after I got it as wide as I wanted, I continued to increase on this side so that I can continue to go in a vertical fashion. But I stopped increasing on this side so this stays steady and straight, all right? And that helps to continue with the same number of blocks as you are going up, all right? So yes, you can create either a square or a rectangle when you do this traditional C2C method, okay? And these are using double crochets, all right? And I am speaking in US terms, all right? Okay, so you just have to keep that in mind. This is a traditional C2C stitch pattern. It is using a 6-3 ratio, okay? And I'm going to call it traditional, all right? Now, why am I saying that? Because I'm going to share with you in some upcoming videos some other stitch patterns, and I want you guys to take a look at them and see if you can help me figure out what stitch pattern they are. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we can all learn something along the way, okay? So, yes, first things first, with my beautiful messy bun hat. And can you guess the stitch pattern looking at C2C? All right. So I think it's a lot of fun to just kind of explore and have fun with it. And I definitely want to share that. And hopefully that will inspire you guys. All right. So now, in addition to that, I want to share with you what I've been working on as far as the Darn Good Yarn update. I shared with you guys some beautiful cherry blossom silk yarn, and I asked you guys what I should make with it. Now, I still haven't decided what I want to make with it, but I was so inspired to see the beautiful um, pattern that they included in there. So please stay tuned because I'm going to share with you what I decided to do and how I wanted to explore that. Okay. I'm not going to show it in this video, but I will show it in an upcoming video. So please stay tuned. All right. Now I am finished with this portion. Let's go ahead and take a look at the puzzle solution for the last video that included a puzzle. And this is what I came up with. And this is the puzzle for today. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching my videos, for giving me a thumbs up, for leaving me very kind comments. Thank you so much for all your thoughts, your prayers, your well wishes. I greatly appreciate it, and they are much needed. I am doing what I can to try to upload as often as possible. Life is sometimes very challenging for me, and I am definitely trying really hard to get used to a new normal. So it's a lot, but I am doing what I can. All right. So yes, please stay tuned. Upcoming, we do have a drawing that is coming up in another day or so. So if you have not already looked at the video where I showed you what I made, please check it out and follow all the guidelines there. And then we will see who wins that beautiful spa set that I made. All right. So until then, I want each and every one of you to do everything you can to be mindful, do everything you can to be at your best health. And by all means, guys, be crafty every day. Be inspiring and be inspired. Share your gifts. I look forward to seeing you again soon in my next video or one of yours. Bye bye now.